Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rick Panita, A.K.A. The Duke, broadcasting you live from the one and only Rochambeau Coffee and Tea House in the great city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, in the wonderful country of the United States of America, indeed. And this is a special rendition of Sports Talk with the great Sir Mohammed. And today's subject in Sports Talk are the Milwaukee Brewers, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Milwaukee's one and only Marquette Golden Eagles. It's all Milwaukee centric, where it ought to be, because sports happen here in Milwaukee, a great sports town indeed. Take it away, Mohammed, about the Milwaukee Brewers and the upset, about our manager moving over to the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Rick, for having me again, on this sport, talk. And I would like to talk about, all the sports in Milwaukee and Wisconsin in general. And we'll start actually, as you mentioned, with the Brewers, departure of the general manager.
Go feel free.
So I think that move probably upset a lot of people because he's going to rival team, the Cubs. But I think overall people always look for a better future and better pay per se. He's going to be making $40 million in the next 5 years. So I
Which
think
is a hell of a
that
lot of money.
exactly. And I was watching actually TV, and I've seen some people, being upset, and some people they're like they wish him well. But overall, the city of Milwaukee or Wisconsin, they're used to this happening, departure of like good players or throughout the years, with the departure of Favre before and Aaron Rodgers, and now the general manager, council. And we wish him well, and I hope that the new general manager will be picked, and we'll have better luck actually in with the Brewers next year.
Hopefully so. Hopefully we can bring up the pitching staff and bring up our defense a little bit, but especially our offense, our batting prowess has not been that good. And the game that I saw that lost us the division championship rather, to the Arizona Diamondbacks, our pitching was really in bad sorts. And a lot needs to be done in terms of various trades, various deals, picking up good players for both offense and defense for the Milwaukee Brewers, let alone deciding upon a brand new manager. So quite a task ahead for the Brewers owner and for all those involved with the Brewers organization at large.
In my opinion, like sometimes you get the best probably general manager at the league, but you probably don't have the money to get players on the same level, and players who can probably do better for the city. But let's see, maybe they don't want to pay him that much, because 40 million I think is a lot of money for a small market team like the Brewers. And I think they might give him a chance to recruit somebody or some player who will help out the team, like acquire a championship, hopefully. Even though our previous general manager, he tried like 5 times or more, to make it happen for the Brewers, but he didn't succeed. So hopefully, we'll get better general manager or somebody who can understand the players, more, and and probably understand the missing link, and do the magic for the city of Milwaukee.
And is there anybody in the cards, as it were, for the pick for a general manager, for a GM for the Milwaukee Brewers?
Actually, there are three, picks, but nothing is certain yet, so we don't want to speculate, you know. But in my opinion, as I said, like sometimes, like a guy, a general manager with less, skills can do it for you, you know. And this is, the world of sport. You never know who's gonna, do the magic for Milwaukee Brewers. But I think the previous one he tried his best. We did great in the regular season, but
Yes, we did.
coming to the playoffs, unfortunately, we couldn't go farther than like the first game. So we were eliminated, every time. So that I think it's wise decision maybe to try with somebody else. Unfortunately, this is sport, and you gotta go with whatever help you out. You know, let's see what happens. Next season.
We'll see what happens next season.
Yep.
It's a long ways away. They got lots of time to decide on a GM
Yep.
and picks and trades for other players. We'll see what happens offensively and defensively for the Milwaukee
Yep.
Brewers. And now to move on to the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yep.
There's an upset in terms of their defense. They're winning games, but only by very thin margins. What's going on now with the Milwaukee Bucks, Mohammed?
I think it's actually obvious for everybody that our defense needs to be better because we're giving away too many points. Even when we win games, when you give over 100 in every game, even like against weaker teams, that should be actually alarming, for the team, management. And I think, during, the trade time, they should bring somebody who can actually help out, in defense. But Lillard, we all know that he's a good scorer, but like when it comes to defense, he's not the best out there. And I think, the Bucks need to do something about it if they want to win the championship this year.
Right, exactly. But it's still very early in the season. Do you think they can rally up and come from behind in terms of their defense?
Well, I watched actually, like 4 or 5 games, already, and I don't see a big change, like, when it comes to defense. And actually, it's alarming that, even the games that we won, they were very, like close games again, scoring wise. And I think, when we start playing against better teams with better offense, you're gonna see the weakness. I think of the Bucks. Like let's say you play against the Warriors, Golden State. You're gonna see how bad probably the defense is. Or if you end up playing against Denver, all these teams with better players who can score too many points. Like I think they should start working on defensive style and probably.
And just to interrupt you for a second, how exactly do you think they can do that? Pull that off?
I think what we have is what we can do. I don't think it's gonna get better that easy. Our defense. So always like the best coaches, and I always bring an example of like Phil Jackson. Whenever he discover a problem in his team, he will bring the missing link, and we know the missing link. We know what we need to do. So instead of wasting like time and energy, if you want to win a championship this year, I still insist and bring in somebody, from veterans, from other teams who can, help out with defense because we need to work out and that because you got, as I said, you got some teams who can shoot very well. Even Miami Heat, they can shoot well, and they will
Most
cause us a
definitely.
problem too. But Celtics can cause us a problems. So you need to know, like how good the team will be against competitive teams on the East. And it doesn't look like, we got the best defense, to stop certain players when it comes to the playoffs. So I think, we need to get, some veteran who can help out with defense.
Right. Well, very interesting input, Mohammed. And short little segue over to the Marquette Golden Eagles.
Yeah, Marquette, we'll conclude this with actually Marquette. We'll talk about Packers also, and finally, like short segment. The Golden Eagles, they started their season yesterday and they look sharp. They had a very good turnout from the first game. The fans showed up, in big force, and we ended up winning, in a comfortable lead, 92-70 against, Northern Illinois, and it was, good start for the season. And we're gonna play the next game against the Riders, and also in Pfizer, Forum Arena. So it's
Exactly.
gonna be also in Milwaukee next game, and the team, they got a lot of good players. They got some veterans who came back this season. So let's see if they can pick up from what they left last season, and try to do a better job in the playoffs, because the playoffs is a different story.
Indeed. And now to the Green Bay, the disappointing Green Bay Packers, although we love them to heart here in Wisconsin, primarily here in Milwaukee, and also Green Bay, of course, needless to say. They have done, well, to be frank, pitifully this year due to lack of defense, offense, planning, strategy, from the coach down to Jordan Love, down to receivers, down to linebackers. I mean, it's all been a mess. And now I guess we're playing teams that are a whole heck of a lot better than the Green Bay Packers, and that are quite formidable to beat by any standards, let alone by a defunct team that's not doing very well this year at all, naming, well, once again, the Green Bay Packers. Mohammed.
Yep. We actually, we appreciate that the fact that they improved their game last Sunday, and they ended up winning, big against the Rams. But the Rams are not. We all know that they're not the best, in the league. But you could see some kind of improvement, on the running game. That's to me is a big step that they're starting to use, the running back more, and he started actually to, advance more and more, and causing some damage. So I'm happy actually to see some kind of different scheme, and hopefully we'll start scoring. Like I was happy that they scored in the first half, which didn't happen in the past 4 games, or and look, I mean, that's a good start for the team. And now, we go back to the, main problem, which is gonna be playing against, better teams, as you said. And we're gonna have some away games, starting with Pittsburgh next week.
That's right.
And their record, shows that Pittsburgh, is probably favored and better, defensively. So hopefully, the team, start, turning things around, Let's see what happens.
Well, they have to do it awfully fast. They haven't done it successfully during the regular season. They did it rather successfully preseason play, but not during the regular season whatsoever, actually.
Yeah, I think, when you blow a good lead, and you lose against weaker teams, you're gonna probably pay the price towards the end of the season, or towards the crunch time, when every team steps up and they try to make it to the playoffs. So that's the bad news for, we're like halfway through, we played 8 games. Our record is 3-5, and like the closest team to us in our division has a better record, which is Minnesota Vikings. So I think we need to, if we want to get things in our favor again, we need to start winning on the road, which is going to be hard, but not impossible. So let's see from the next week how they're gonna react against
Yeah.
the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, indeed. Let's see. Hopefully, the Packers will be able to rally some sort of prowess to come from behind. Behind, meaning in terms of how they've been playing, which has not been quite up to par against quite formidable teams up and coming. Well, thanks, Mohammed, for your insights.
You are welcome, man.
Very much into Milwaukee sports and Green Bay sports, starting with the Milwaukee Brewers, Milwaukee Bucks, Milwaukee's Marquette Golden Eagles, and also the bad news of the Green Bay Packers. Oh, darn well. Maybe next year. We'll see. Thanks once again.
You're welcome, man, and hopefully we'll have things going in favor of us very soon, and let's see what happens this weekend.
Indeed. And that brings an end for all you folks interested in Milwaukee, Wisconsin sports and Wisconsin sports at large on YouTube. We all have a delightful day. I bid you farewell, adieu, and also bye from the one and only Rosenbo Coffee and Tea House in the great city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, in the wonderful country of the United States of America indeed. Farewell.